So we disciple so that we can be able to raise workers for the kingdom next door to everywhere. And like for me, I disciple from my home front. God calls, He cleanses, and He sent. It was not a perfect Isaiah that saw the Lord. Who will go for us? And then they will have to come to a place where they have encountered the Lord, they have seen the Lord, they have heard the Lord, and they are willing to go, and then they are able to understand the mission that God has called them into. And here I am. And then the second thing I learned from this Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1 to 8 is that the vision led to worship, and worship led to mission. Isaiah was able to see in vision, and he worshiped the Lord, and then he understood the mission. Thank you once again. I want to share with you today from Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 1 to 8. This is a story of Isaiah who encountered God, and it was in the year his uncle Uzziah died, and he was able to saw the Lord sitting upon his throne. And the throne, he described that it was very high. The throne was also lifted up, and that was the description. And his robe was filling the whole temple, and above the throne was the seraphim, and the seraphim had six wings, and they were positioned differently. The two was to cover the leg, his face, and then the two was also for him to float, to flee. I mean, to fly. And as Isaiah kept describing his encounter with God, he also said that uh, each of the seraphim would call to one another and said, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." And Isaiah continued by describing those things bit by bit, by telling the listener that the foundation of the threshold shook at the voice of the seraphim who called, and the whole house was filled with the smoke. And after all this encounter, Isaiah said to himself, "Woe is me, for I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." That was his comment. So after Isaiah uh, saw the Lord and everything and his encounter, this is what happened next. Is that one of the seraphim flew to him. And then he have in his hand was the burning coal that he had taken with the tongue of fire from the altar of the throne. He used that fire to touch the mouth of Isaiah. And you know, the angel said, "Behold, this has touched your lip, and your guilt is taken away. You are forgiven, and your sin is atoned for." And this is what amazed me. And after his sin was taken away, he now heard the voice of the Lord. Remember, he started from seeing, now he is hearing. And he heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And then Isaiah said, "Here I am, send me." And then he said, "Go and say this to the people." Yeah, from this story, I learned this that this thing that happened is God who is holy was in his throne. But Isaiah could not see them. But when God revealed himself to Isaiah, the first thing he saw the Lord. And after seeing him and that encounter he had, and then the third thing that Isaiah did was saying, "Here I am," because this is an encounter. When you encounter the Lord, you will see, and after seeing, you will be able to respond by saying, "Here I am." And then the second thing I learned from this Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1 to 8 is that the vision led to worship, and worship led to mission. Isaiah was able to see in vision, and he worshiped the Lord. And then he understood the mission. And then the third thing I also learned is that God calls, he cleanses, and he sent. It was not a perfect Isaiah that saw the Lord, that had a perfect God. It was just God revealing himself to his servant. And it was not a perfect God who came to do things by his own, but he entrusted human being to go for mission. And God is calling now. Will you go? God is calling now. Will you go? And this is an intentional, this is something that is very important, that everyone should come to a point where God will say, "Who will go for us?" And then they will have to come to a place where they have encountered the Lord, they have seen the Lord, they have heard the Lord, and they are willing to go, and then they are able to understand the mission that God has called them into. And it is a blessing for you to know all this, friend. Thank you. See you once again.